For now, the Lord would have established your kingdom over Israel forever. But now your kingdom shall not continue. The Lord has sought for himself a man after his own heart, and the Lord has commanded him to be commander over his people, because you have not kept the Lord's commandment. You see, God gave King Saul the kingship of Israel, but Saul wanted the priesthood of Israel. God gave him the kingship. He was a king. God did not make him the priest. He waited for priest Samuel to come. He didn't come in time. He decided and said, what's so special? I'm a king. You are a priest. Can't I be a priest at the same time? I can do both together. Let me do the sacrifice. He offered the sacrifice. Then Samuel came in. He said, oh, welcome, sir. He said, what have you done? He said, because you didn't come in time, I decided to be the priest. He said, you've done foolishly. You've done foolishly. And what happened at the end of the day? The kingship, the kingdom that was given to him was taken away. He lost the kingdom. He was given the kingdom, but they wanted the priesthood at the same time. He wanted to be the king and the priest. So at the end of the day, he lost everything. I want us to be aware. It's not going to be a long message. I want us to be careful as a Christian, that whenever you start desiring that which God has not given to you, Satan is after something that God has given to you. Whenever you start looking, lusting after that which has not given to you, Satan wants to take something that God has given to you. It's very, very simple. Let us look at the book of James. James chapter 1, verses 13 to 15. James chapter 1, verses 13 to 15. I want somebody to help me read it, please. James chapter 1, verses 13 to 15. Remember, we are looking at covetousness.
When tempted, no one should say, God is tempting me. For God cannot be tempted by evil, nor does he tempt anyone. But each one is tempted when, by his own evil desire, he is dragged away and enticed. Then after desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin. And sin, when it is full grown, gives birth to death.
You see? Many times you say, oh, God is tempting me. No, God is not tempting you. He said, let no one say, when I'm tempted by God. For God cannot be tempted by evil. Nor does he tempt anyone. But each one is tempted when he's drawn away by his own desire and enticed. By his own desire and enticed. Then when desire is conceived, it gives birth to sin. And sin, when it's full grown, gives birth to death. When you start desiring what God has not given you, Satan is beckoning to that Christian. Satan is beckoning to that Christian. Then that desire, when it's full grown, will give back to sin. Then you will carry out the action. After carrying out the action, then it gives back to death. That is when Satan will take what has been given to that person. Satan has the legal right to take it. That means the person will lose whatever he or she has been given. And that's the trap of Satan. It's like in UK, God has given us London transport, the bus, the underground and everything. But if I enter London transport without the right card, what is it called? Travel card? Oyster card or whatever. If I enter the bus without the Oyster card, and when I'm caught, that will give birth to disgrace and death. Death in the sense that you are captured, they take your detail. And from that moment, you have criminal record. Criminal record is saying death. Because you'll not be able to do a lot of things. There are jobs you might want to apply for in the future, and they'll check criminal record. They say, no, we can't take you. So whenever the feelings start coming, and you start deciding, oh, look at that brother. Everything's working right for him. He's making money, he's making everything. I want the same thing, At whatever it costs, I don't mind. I just want it. Knowing that Satan is beckoning to you. Satan is beckoning to us at that moment. And the moment we follow, you will discover that which has been given to you, you will lose it. Let me look at this. Let me tell you this story. There was a big dog. There's this big dog that was walking along the street with a big bone in his mouth. He has been enjoying the bone and chewing and everything. And as he was going, he got to a bridge by the river. He looked inside the water, he saw another dog, bigger, with a bigger bone than the one he has got in his mouth. He looked at it, then he said to himself, what is in my mouth is small. That guy is carrying a bigger one. What can I do in order for me to have both? He said that to himself. He said, oh, am I going to get it? He said, okay, I know what to do. I will turn around, drop this, then chase the other dog so I can take that which the dog is eating. He dropped that one, tried to run after the other dog, and suddenly jumped into the water. Unknown to him that he was looking at his own reflection in the water. Greed. He jumped in the water and discovered that, where's the other dog? There's no dog, only me. And the current of the river was so strong. So as he was trying to swim to escape, then a shark just said, hello, what a meat. Oh, he called on that shark. He said, come and see this kind of meat. We've never seen this before. Then they surrounded the dog. And they cut the dog into pieces. The dog lost the original bone and his life at the same time. So greed will always lead to death. If you don't take action in time, if you don't stop it and say, Satan, get deep behind me, greed it could come in any form. Desiring somebody else's wife, somebody's car, somebody's house, money, position, whatsoever it may be. Knowing that Satan is beckoning. We want to look at the life of King Solomon. Let us open to the book of 1 Kings chapter 11. And we're going to read from verses 1 to 11. 1 Kings chapter 11. From verses 1 to 11. The life of King Solomon. But King Solomon loved many foreign women. Thank you, I just want to read it. But King Solomon loved many foreign women, as well as the daughter of Pharaoh, women of Moabite and Ammonite, Edomite, Sidonia, and Hittite, from the nation of whom the Lord had said to the children of Israel, you shall not intermarry with them, nor they with you. Surely they will turn away your heart after their God. Solomon clung to this in love. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wife turned his heart away from God. Let's go to verse 4. For it was so when Solomon was old that his wife turned his heart after other gods, and his heart was not loyal to the Lord his God, as it was the heart of his father David. Verse 6. Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord, and did not fully follow the Lord, as did his father David. Solomon built high places for Chemsoch, the abomination of Moab, on the hill that is east of Jerusalem, and to Molech, the abomination of the people of Ammon. And he did likewise for all his foreign wives, who burned incense and sacrificed to their God. So the Lord became angry with Solomon. because his heart has turned from the Lord God of Israel, and he has appeared to him twice, and had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods. But he did not keep what the Lord has commanded. Therefore the Lord said to Solomon, because you have done this, and have not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded you, I will surely tear the kingdom away from you and give it to your servant. I will surely tear the kingdom away from you and give it to your servant. You know, it's very, very easy, very clear. And when you look at that, you discover that God gave Solomon all the women of Israel to marry anyone. But Solomon wanted foreign women. Solomon went after foreign women, then Satan took away his kingdom from him. God said, do not marry these people. And the reason being that if you do, they will turn your heart away from me. Solomon that built a big edifice for God, temple of worship. Solomon that the Lord has appeared to before. In his old age, he now became somebody that builds small places, idol worship, for them to worship idol, worship other gods. And God has already warned him not to. And because he disobeyed God and wanted what God has not given him, the woman that God has not permitted him to marry, that's the kind of woman he wants. He wanted that, it's okay. Satan said, okay, if that's what you want, I'm happy. He desired them, he went after them. And they turned his heart away from God. And the kingdom that was given to him was taken away from him. So whenever you take what God has not given you, Satan has the legal right to take what God has given you. You cannot, there's nothing we can do about that. Satan has the legal right. Why are Christians suffering today? And so people will say, oh, this is happening to me because of generational curse. This is happening to me because of this. No, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with disobedience. Because when you start deciding, when you start doing things that you're not supposed to do, you open yourself to Satan. And Satan will come in and pollute that which God has given unto us. So as a Christian, we ought to be very, very careful. And know that Satan is very trickish. We've looked at the life of Adam and Eve. They were given the Garden of Eden. They wanted the particular tree that they were not permitted to touch. They went after the tree and the garden was taken away from them. Saul was given the rulership of Israel as a king. He wanted the priesthood to be the king and the priest. Then the kingdom was taken away from him. We've looked at the life of Solomon. Solomon was given permission to marry any Israelites you want. He said, no, I'm not satisfied with that. I want foreigners. He went after that, and the kingdom was taken away from him. The dog lost his life because of greed. And we must not follow the same pattern. Satan has never changed. He has been using the same method all the time. So the problem is not with Satan, the problem is with us. As a Christian, we ought to be careful. Very, very careful to follow the word of the Lord. I pray that none of us will fall into the trap of Satan. None of us will fall foul into the trap of Satan. I pray that God will uphold us, God will hold us, God will help us